Hi, Dennis Weiss for Eagle Communications. Welcome to our town. We're at the Depot, I call it, the Civic Center in the city of Abilene, at the Convention and Visitors Bureau with their new executive, Julie Roller. Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming and meeting with me.
So I've been in this room hundreds of times. Every time I'm here, I have two expectations. One, a train will visit us.
No doubt.
and two, that we're going to talk about something important to Abilene. This is kind of a very important place to Abilene.
Absolutely. We are very, very fortunate to be in this wonderful location, really centrally located in the community, an historic building for Abilene. With our visitor center, we see thousands of visitors every year. We're a state-designated community-owned visitor center. We're open every day, welcoming people to the community. We have our offices here. The Chamber of Commerce is also located here. And then the community really can rent out this facility for weddings, showers, Christmas parties. We had a lot of families over the holidays come here.
I bought my house in this room.
Really?
At an auction. Yes.
That's incredible.
Yes, it's true.
We host a lot of auctions.
It was the first auction my wife, of any kind, that my wife had ever been to.
Really?
Yes. She wore her sunglasses in case we didn't get the house, so when she cried on the way out, nobody could see.
Oh my.
She hugged everybody in the room. Once the last hand went up, she hugged everybody in the room. The auctioneer was quite surprised.
Very cool. Well, we are pleased to host a number of auctions, but it's just a great community building that's open to anybody.
Most importantly, for the purposes of our show, you know, anybody that watches us all the time knows that I never miss an opportunity to say economic revitalization. Your agency, the Chamber of Commerce, both are working together to make sure that we have a healthy and growing Abilene.
Absolutely. We may be two separate organizations, but we are all working to support Abilene, Abilene's businesses, bring people to our community. I really look at tourism as a component of economic development.
It is.
Anytime you have the opportunity to bring in outside dollars to your community, it enables you to have things you may not otherwise be able to have.
I think people think many times that business is what they see on Main Street only, or the manufacturing plant at the edge of town only, or something like that. Business is also people coming to have fun.
Yes.
It's a constant reminder in a diversified economy that we have, which we're so blessed to have here.
Yes.
Diversity that can stand the ups and downs. But tourism, people coming to Abilene, has long been a huge part of what makes us so special.
Well, you look at the Eisenhower Presidential Library and Museum, and the number of visitors they receive every year, 175,000 to 200,000. Imagine the dollars that they leave in this community, dollars that we wouldn't otherwise have. And so we obviously some of us don't want to grow our population up to 200,000, but we're happy to have the income off those 200,000.
Sure. Wouldn't mind growing from 6,500 to 9,500 though.
That would be a good step.
I'd like to see that happen. I think of our historic nature as a community, including the building we're sitting in. I've made this comment publicly before, but I never mind repeating it. There's only one way to ensure preservation, and that is to ensure growth.
Absolutely.
It takes new dollars to save old things.
It really does. Abilene has been fortunate over the years to be blessed with some amazing businesses and people who are willing to give back to their community, but we have to be able to replace those people as they leave our community.
Okay, so Julie Roller is a jolly Jayhawker, I've heard.
I am. I was a jolly Jayhawker 4-H kid from 7 to 18, but I am a wildcat at heart.
No. Now there's the ultimate compromise.
It is.
Not?
It is. All those years we practiced for model meeting, and as we were going through our practice rounds, a motion would always come up to change our name to the wonderful Wildcats or something along those lines. But we definitely embrace our Kansas roots.
So we moved to Kansas in 1992 in Bennington, and our middle daughter went to her first day of kindergarten, came home and said, "Dad, are we for the KU or are we for K-State?" And I go, what do they do? Is there a litmus test to get into kindergarten or what?
You had to pick a side early on.
Yeah, that was kind of fun, but it's a good something to laugh about. What it really means is that people in our community are invested in who they are, and what they believe in, and that's a good thing for a healthy community.
I think when you look at so many former 4-H kids, community service and giving back is really one of our pillars. And the need to make a difference and give back to the community that gave me so much is really a strong driver for me personally.
You grew up being a Jolly Jayhawker. You're from Chapman.
I went to school in Chapman all the way through. I'm originally from Woodbine. Large community of 200 people.
Right.
But it was a great experience growing up.
Woodbine long had a wonderful cafe that's
oh my goodness,
now
yes.
changed hands, I think.
Yes,
but the little German lady who ran it for so many years, you never left hungry.
It was a true destination. Brigida had an amazing German meal. The train would actually, come from Abilene to Enterprise, and then they'd go on to Woodbine for passengers to enjoy great schnitzel and noodles, and it was a wonderful meal, and nobody left hungry, that's for sure.
Yeah. I remember being asked there why I hadn't finished my plate. I think I told her I don't think any human could finish that plate. So, but it's a great opportunity to remind people on camera that your job is to remind the world what a great place Abilene, Kansas is.
Absolutely. I think the greatest thing we can do is to continue to share a positive message and to increase the pride in our community from our residents. So when they go out and they're going to a ball game in Manhattan or they're going shopping in Salina and somebody says, "Where are you from?" and they say Abilene, and then they say, "Oh, and this is all we have to offer." I think our community members can be our best ambassadors, but then also not only instilling pride in our community, but some envy from our neighbors. We really want them to look up to us as, you know what, Abilene has it going on. They're doing all the right things, and look at that great community.
I hear this message frequently as my wife is the executive director of Great Plains Theater, but that is an example of a totally unique business.
Absolutely.
That there isn't another town in Kansas that has it, no matter what size they are. But a town of 6,500 that pulls people from states around us, and fill the auditorium the other night with people from quite a ways away, including Kansas City, on a Saturday night. So we're coming to Abilene on a Saturday night from Kansas City. Think of all the things they drove by to get here.
Absolutely. When you look at all of our attractions, some communities would be blessed to have one really quality, unique attraction. Look at what Abilene has. Obviously Eisenhower, Greyhound Hall of Fame. Our Heritage Center is incredible. The theater, being the only professional theater between Denver and Kansas City, in Abilene, Kansas, right here. The Seeley Mansion, anytime we post something about Seeley on Facebook, it just goes viral. Yeah. It's an iconic structure, and people just really are gravitated to it.
I'll take this a little down the path. I think we're so blessed in Abilene with some special people. So use the Seeley Mansion. That is there because of Terry Teachins.
The before and after photos of when he came in to what it looks like now, oh my goodness. The sisters did all that they could to maintain it, but he's really, he's made an investment, and the community has made an investment in preserving the Seeley Mansion.
Frankly, we've already talked about the Great Plains Theater, but that existed because of Terry Teachins. I'm making that point because every good thing has somebody behind it, a person behind it who's pushing it forward. I guarantee that the CVB and all the things you do will not be successful with just your efforts.
It takes a team, and if you look at thriving communities versus struggling communities, location comes into play, yes, but really it's the people behind it.
It's engagement. It's engagement from the community.
People stepping up, having a dream, and wanting to see it through. We can all sit around and have great ideas, but at the end of the day, somebody has to do the work. Yeah. And if you look at some of these attractions, the theater is a great example. People step up and they do the work.
Yeah. It's an amazing story. I think we're at a very good place in Abilene. I think the engagement quotient, if you will, is rising. I see more people being interested in doing something. We've always had, a pretty good volunteer base here. I mean, go and do things. But I see new people being excited about something. And the excitement about something is what ensures success.
But Abilene has such a diverse offering that if you're not passionate about history, okay, you don't need to volunteer there, but you may be passionate about theater, or you may be passionate about all of the antique stores and the wonderful shopping that we have. The rodeo, oh, that's a great example of a group of volunteers, that really get together and rally for the county and bring people from all over.
Yeah, it's a huge outdoor event. It's in sync with the Central Kansas Free Fair. I think, locally we go, well, it's fair, it's always here. For the purposes of this discussion, it's a huge economic revitalization opportunity of which we all need to figure out how to do it right.
If you look at the hotels during Fair Week, they're busy. If you look at restaurants during Fair Week, they're busy as well. I think I grew up taking our fair for granted.
Yeah.
I knew it was great, it was wonderful, but having worked in other communities and going to their fairs, we are so blessed.
I want to use an example about engagement that I think might resonate with a few other folks. So Elizabeth and I went to lunch at 311 one day, right after it first opened, and had lunch, and we'd parked around the corner, so we were going to walk around the corner back to Buckeye to where we parked. So we're coming around the corner, and under the M&M Tire brand new digital sign, the Miller's grandchildren were there with a little lemonade stand for 50 cents, and they're standing there. I said, let's go get some lemonade. So Elizabeth and I walked over, and we got 2 glasses of lemonade, and I said, how's business? And she says, oh, it's okay, it's pretty good. I said, what do they charge you for rent here on this prime piece of real estate? And he goes, no, Grandma doesn't charge us anything. I said, seeing as how you kind of got negotiations going your way, maybe you should talk to them about that digital sign up there and saying lemonade here today on that sign. The little boy looked at me and he said, that's a good idea. And we left. I came back by about 2 hours later. You know what was on the digital sign?
Lemonade.
That is engagement.
Yes, that's entrepreneurship.
And partnership. So yes, it's grandma and his mom and dad and the little boy and girl, but that is the model. Have an idea, ask for somebody to help you with it, and make it public, and go sell lemonade.
It's amazing what a group of people can accomplish that have a common vision. But you look at the entrepreneurs in Abilene, and we're really fortunate in the people who started businesses here that then, once their business is successful, they have money to give back to a community. The private sector is the one that's enabling us to have some of these things because of those donations. We're great sponsors, people who come forward and really put their money where their mouth is. They believe in the community and they want to invest in it.
If I have a wish list, Julie, it's the same partnership you have with the Chamber of Commerce offices right up there. If we can make that work on Main Street. So your job is to heads and beds, bring people to town, promote tourism. James's job is to make sure that business does all they can to grow their business. When you're bringing people from Kansas City to an event that starts at 7 p.m. at night in Abilene at Great Plains Theater and doesn't get done until 10:30, the area of economic opportunity is shortly before the event to after the event, including an overnight stay. So the overnight stay portion of that, since I've been around Abilene, has been talked about. Boy, we need more good hotel space. I think that's going to happen maybe in 2017.
I believe so.
That's a huge movement forward. But what's left to be done, that you're the perfect one to help us do this as a community, is we need that engagement from the people who are bringing people to town, to the Main Street businesses who have the right product mix to take advantage of it. You look at these antique shops and these cute little dress shops and the cute little jewelry shops. Those are ideal for people who are coming from out of town to spend money in, but they have to be open when that before and after.
When I was a Main Street director, my first job out of college, Kansas Main Street was a program, and I was in Augusta, Kansas. And one of our quarterly trainings, the presenter said, if you're only open 8 to 5, you're catering to the unemployed. Because people who have time to shop during those hours are normally working. And so how do we work smarter, maybe not necessarily harder, and adjusting some of those hours? Now, obviously, private business has complete free will to operate how they
Sure.
wish. But how can we present the opportunities and then they can evaluate what is best for them? I think one of the neatest things is La Fiesta moving downtown.
I agree.
Friday night, I was driving to dinner. I drove past La Fiesta and it was cold Friday night and people were standing outside. Now imagine if some of those neighborhood businesses were open. You could pop in, you could do your shopping while you're waiting for your table. I think that's really going to breathe some new life into downtown. I think that's really exciting.
I guess what I'm hearing from you that really enthuses me is, first of all, you're excited about what you do.
I am.
And second of all, I think you simply get it, that even though visitors, CVB, Convention Visitors Bureau, we don't have any conventions in town, so you can strike that one.
We have a lot of large groups. We don't have a
groups,
convention
right.
center, but I mean, Greyhounds bring in a lot of people. We're going to have an all-women's air race coming to
So
town.
you get large groups in
Yeah.
Visitor Center. But I guess my point is the name is not as important as who we are and what we do.
Yes.
But there's still a huge opportunity of you bringing people to town can be enhanced by the people here in town and Main Street business. Because for them to come back, wouldn't they be more likely to come back if they can look down on their wrist and go, yeah, I bought this when I was in Abilene last time. Let's go back. My aunt and uncle from New York are my uncle's quite elderly. I won't say my aunt is on camera. She's younger. So every time they would come through to see their nephew in Kansas, every winter, Aunt Janet would go, oh, can we go down to Old Abilene town and go through the jewelry display? And my Uncle Jim would go, "Arr." But we always went.
Yes.
And she loved what she bought there. She wears it all the time in upstate New York, and would if she was here today, she would be down there getting some more. That's the opportunity that we have to see and find a way to make happen.
I was at a tourism conference several years ago, and they said for every 1 hour you drive, you need 3 hours of things to do. So think about Abilene in that regard. Now, if I drive here just to antique shop, I have multiple antique shops to shop in. You know, that's worth the drive. Knowing that if I go into one store and I find something and my friends don't, they're going to find something in the next store. And it really makes it worthwhile to make that trip. I mean, we have over 100 antique dealers in town. We have a lot of really good partnerships going on, but I think we can still work to break down some of those silos and be part of a team.
I'm a horse guy. My daughter, Talmadge Progressive, was a horse girl.
Yes.
My previous to Kansas employment was as a professional horse trainer. So I need to get to know your dad, right? Abilene is in a perfect position to expand that opportunity, but somebody's got to drive it. Somebody's got to see it as an economic opportunity for the community and drive it. We don't need tax dollars to go fund horse shows.
No.
We've already got a great arena with a nice warm-up ring that we didn't have 10 years ago, by the way. So, you know, that was right at the tail end of our career. My wife worked pretty hard
good job there.
of that to get that done. So the reality of it is we have what we need from the community investment model. Now we need somebody with a vision to find a way of using that as an advertising platform, whether it's Rawhide Corral or somebody else.
Yes.
You know, but there's opportunities here that we haven't taken advantage of yet.
I think with the internet and social media, I think we can share Abilene with the world and share the opportunities we have available. I-70 is a blessing. I mean, to be right along interstate, we're centrally located in the state. Cost of living here is affordable compared to other areas. It's an easy commute, but we can build upon some of the things, the time and the talent that we have of individuals in the community. So this is your expertise. You know, who else do you know? Who else can we bring into the fold? Partnerships are going to be huge in furthering Abilene. You talk about 4-H. You know, our 4-H motto was to make the best better, and that's how I feel about Abilene.
Oh, your 4-H leader will be so happy when she watches this interview.
But it's true. I mean, Abilene is a great community, but how do we make it better?
Right. I think that's an emotional hurdle that it would be good if we could just snap our fingers and everybody's over it. But a discussion about what to improve is not a castigation of the past. It's how to make the best better. That's a great, why don't we use that this year?
We should. We really should. Our theme for the year.
How to make the...
You know, we have amazing history, but what are we doing now, to create history for future generations? A lot of times you go through historic museums and they have all this great history from, 100 years ago, but we're not doing a good job of documenting, history from, the last 50 years, the last 20 years,
Right.
And then moving forward. How do we connect with that next generation?
That's a great point. Really fired a few synapses in the brain on that one. I think that's something that maybe other people will connect to as well. We have a task to do. My generation and then your generation, we face some challenges of, we're always so happy when a young professional comes to town for anything, even for a sandwich, but to have one come home and go to work in an important area, that is the key to economic revitalization, is getting our own engaged. My daughter came home and is working as a marketing director for Great Plains, and with a perspective of millennials is just doing great things to push that vision out into the different community. They're doing all sorts of things nobody ever thought of down there before.
I don't think, we can all say, oh, we need more money for this, or we need more money for that, but I think we can also look at things differently. We don't have to do things the way we've always done them. This is a new day. It's a new opportunity to evaluate what we're doing. I've been here starting 6 weeks, and so I've been really busy focusing on stakeholder visits. And I go and ask anybody remotely connected to the tourism industry in Abilene, what does the CVB do well? What do we maybe do not as well? And what are your ideas for the future? And it's really cool to go through those visits and all of my pages of notes, hours and hours, and start identifying some of those common themes. People are very supportive of tourism. The city of Abilene has really made a significant investment in tourism that other communities don't get. Abilene gets it. So how do we break down some of those silos, we work together. Having our offices next door to the chamber builds great synergy. The information we can share, the resources that we can share, it's huge.
So what are you doing Thursday nights?
Thursday nights, let's see. Game night at the theater?
Yes, okay, so are you going?
Sure.
Are you taking a friend?
I need to.
We only have 2 minutes, so here's the deal. Yes, it's those things. It's because after I know this as a fact. So when you leave game night at Great Plains Theater after you played Monopoly or Clue or whatever.
I'm a Scrabble girl.
Oh, Scrabble! My daughter can take you.
Oh, I'm sure she could.
She plays with her pupils kind of narrow. I don't know. I think she gets it from her mother. I'm not real sure. But you always go get a coffee or a snack or something on the way
relationships
home.
that are built over that. Just having those conversations.
The deals that are made. Hey, can you help me with this? It's a terrific thing, and it costs the community nothing. We have the facility. It's just people getting engaged.
Just talking to somebody, learning about them, learning what their strengths are, what their interests are. You learn more about people, things you would never ever know. Talking to a banker who was also passionate about classic cars and hosting a car show.
Yeah,
some of those connections you wouldn't otherwise make. So how, can we get out and visit with people, connect the dots, and further the community?
Well, Julie, I'm sure we're out of time. Dave gave me the 2 a bit ago. But so happy to have Julie Roller on camera today.
Thank you very much, and I'm really happy to be home.
I'll bet you are. I'll bet you are. And I'll bet your dad and mom are even more happy that you're home. Hey, we're so glad you're here in your home with us today, and our town is a beautiful place to live and work, is it not?
Absolutely.
This is Julie Roller. You can find her at the CVB, and she'd love to talk to you about your ideas for Abilene, Kansas. I'm Dennis Weiss. I work for Eagle Communications. You can find me about anywhere. I hope you have a great day.